Welcome to MD Cinema. We'll talk about the final episode of The Walking Dead. This was the end of a series in which we had fun from 2012 to 2022. We went through 177 episodes in 11 seasons. We had fun. We were impressed. And we laughed our sadness. The journey was exciting and fun. But was the end at the required level or not? I saw some people here and I noticed that there was a difference of opinion because there were people who liked the end and people who said it wasn't at the required level. Let me talk about this panel in detail and talk about the important points that I am interested in discussing with you, and ultimately this is an assessment. Ring and say if the finish is good or bad. If I were to talk about the contentious end of Rick Grimes' return, I would talk about this scene as well, but I would devote a special segment to speaking in detail about this scene and interpreting and analyzing every frame we have seen in this scene. If I like to see this review or analytical passage, don't forget to do like to this video and share the channel and do the bell to get you all new video. From the beginning of this episode, I saw that there was powerful action. Immediately after we saw the group, they fought the walkers, and we saw Luke and his girlfriend. Jules gets into trouble. Jules grabbed at Walker's and member it. Luke tried to help her, but then he too bit on his foot, watched her die, and then they took him all from Yumiko, Connie, Kelly, and Magna, and tried to save, but unfortunately he couldn't help it talking about the scene of Luke's death. I always say that what matters from the character who dies as much as the scene means how he dies, means that you can see an excellent character, but you die in a bad way. You can fear a secondary character, but you die in a wonderful way. And that who with Luke is almost a weak character, and between the proximity of Magna can be the weakest character among them. But the scene of his death was a really wonderful scene that shook me personally, and I saw the reaction of Magna and Connie and Yumiko and Kelly. It was a heartbreaking reaction, and this viewer feels that even it does not represent her feeling that they are genuine feelings. Why? Because this can be the last scene with each other, sometimes what the viewer depicts in order so this can be their last scene with each other. So you feel the real feelings and feel that they are grieving and crying from grandfather, and from the representation of this you feel is real, and actually a really moving scene. Not even that this thing in the first 10 minutes means even if credit allowance for the first Sue Stark, the first 10 minutes is something that makes me sad and sympathetic to this thing I rarely feel. And the only thing that you remember made me feel the same as a father film from Pixar. That's a very cool thing. The beginning was excellent and sad and powerful. We see that Luke's scene was powerful and moving. This is excellent for Luke's character in the same lap too. We saw Judith was a tan, but Daryl gave her blood, and then they went by Tommy and saved her. During Judith's scene, she told Daryl Michonne that I went looking for Rick, and from here Daryl knew where Michonne for this. Eventually, after almost a year, he left to look for him, because Michonne was late. This means that the story is almost as we expected it to be. In the Commonwealth story, we saw Mercer catch Pamela Milton and open the doors to people who were dying of Walker. Pamela Milton was dying of suicide because what she wanted to weave and this thing. What Negan said when he said to such prison people is worse than death, and of course he speaks from experience because he has been sitting in Alexandria prison for so many years. Is Arif what is possible? Now you feel like a Pamela Milton. Anyway, with Pamela Milton, I went to prison. And then Mercer and Daryl Dixon, they all make a plan to blow up the Walkers' headquarters and sacrifice this place of the Commonwealth to kill all the Walkers who entered the Commonwealth. What did they do? Play a song for the Walkers to come closer, and after you finish this song, the song explodes. It was a CM Punk song. I didn't see this scene when I turned on the song. I expected CM Punk to come now and kill Walkers. I know it's a famous song even before CM Punk used it, but I expect everyone to hear it right away. I remember CM Punk and predicted that he could make it. Anyway, this scene in general, I think it's a scene that worked so fast that they tried to rush what I know about why their quick action and the cherry danger meant what we revealed so intensely, except the luxury of the last episode. And in this episode, but what we revealed more scenes meant I hope to see more scenes. I wished the Walkers before he died. It works more dangerous things than we've seen because in this episode, we're almost what we know about Luke and Jules Buck's dying. Rosetta preaches. I'll talk about Rosetta in a little while, but never in danger for the proximity. It was true that Judith was injured, but she was once Pamela Milton, not of Walker's Phil Walkers, and that they had a new type of climbers that posed a danger to our proximity. And that's something I see as a weakness. In the last episode, and the witness in general was quick, and we worked fast to shorten the episode, but I was hoping that they would be longer than 5 or 10 minutes. One of those known, for example, Diane, Jerry, or any other known person, means that if he dies, they put him at risk because of a cherry. It means I would have liked this scene to be more exciting and fun, but unfortunately they worked it fast to finish the Walker story within the Commonwealth. Good now, Rosita's story. We watched Rosita finds Coco and then gets into trouble with Walkers. She tries to climb and then falls, but then she manages to come back and climb again, from which she is surprised in this scene. How Gabriel and Eugene, after what they lived, why didn't they ask her about a bite, or why did he wait this long? Yeah, they know it's natural, a fallen unit. They need to show her leg, neck, and everywhere they see her. I was a little surprised that Gabriel and Eugene had not forgotten her in this scene. But then Eugene doubted this thing because she was acting weirdly, and then Rosita asked him to bite. And this scene showed him a scene that was sweet and sweet in the sweet reaction that she was going to die. In the final episode of The Walking Dead. This is a great honor for any character in the series after seeing the dinner scene. Not every character lived with each other and lived peacefully, and all was happy. And this scene is almost reminiscent of the scene Rick imagined in the episode. The day will come when you won't be the episode where Glenn and Abraham imagined everyone was happy and eating together. This scene almost shows us now a happy ending and everyone is happy and lives with each other. But after Rosita told Gabriel with a bite, and then everyone knew Rosita was going to die. In general, we see Rosita. Scenes in this episode were excellent Rosita representation, and Eugene Thinner's acting hijacked the lights of what they saw, and the same point of Luke's scenes feels sad that they were leaving this series and left some feeling that the representation was real, and I liked this thing. So this is how the story ended, and after we see that they jumped in time a whole year. Ezekiel of the characters that you expected could die in this last episode. As I mentioned in the past episodes, they focused on a little strangely, and I expected that they focused on him in order to kill him. But look at the exact opposite and focus on him to return to the same character in Season 7, as he was now the leader of the Commonwealth and became the governor. And we see that even Ezekiel ended his story in an excellent way. Ezekiel's assistant became a mercer. As for Carol, she took the position of Lance Hornsby, meant she became a relationship officer. We saw Eugene is married to Max, and then a daughter named Rosita. Of course, this name is called for Rosita. We saw Aaron and Gabriel sitting in Alexandra. They are now the leaders of Alexandria, and we saw Maggie in the Helltops trying to adopt Helltops again, and even Negan with her in the Helltops. If you notice, even in the scenes, we see green trees and semi-normal lives, because almost a year in Salvation are at any risk from either Cherry or human or walkers. That's how the series ended.